guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about my latest design here, which is the MD500, specially designed for the Bell, the UH1 and all those kind of internals. So that's the newer versions with the bigger motor at the back, so not the FW450. And unlike other videos where I've literally assembled it in front of you, I'm going to just talk about how to assemble it. So this will be more of a guide. I'm going to swing the camera around just now. I'll zoom into all the parts and show you how I assembled it, because it's not the easiest, I'll be completely honest. Some parts are very easy and some just take a little bit of pre-planning. So, and then after that I haven't even given this a maiden yet. I've just flown it quickly in the front yard just to make sure it doesn't vibrate itself to death, which it doesn't. It flies nice. But just to give you some dimensions quickly, blade tip to the end of the tail is 1 meter. Height of the table is 33 centimeters. Width is, let's call it 18 centimeters. The fuselage itself, if I just guess, is about 83 centimeters. So she's quite a big girl, but she weighs surprisingly little, actually, for the size. In fact, less than the BO105 by 200 grams. So I'm not sure exactly how that worked out, but the lighter the better. And that's with a 2200 battery. With a 3000 battery, it'll be 100 grams heavier, so about 1500 grams. So I'm going to swing the camera around now, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Right, with that said, here are the internals. So the first thing you're going to do is, once you've printed all your parts, if you have a big enough printer, then you'll be able to print this section in one go. Unfortunately, my printer is 220 by 220, so I had to split it here, roughly. But this line, in fact, I did quite a decent job in covering that up, but there you can see the split over there. But as I say, if you have a bigger printer, you can print this whole piece in one section. The files are there. This piece does print in one section on a normal printer, and then of course all the rest. I also had to cut the landing gear in half, because this is longer than I can print, even diagonally. But anyway, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to print out all the parts. And if you've printed this 1, 2, 3 parts, you will first tape it up here. Just tape it up, tape the bottom piece up, so that this is one complete thing. Forget about the tail just fits, it's not a problem. The hood is one piece. If anybody wants the hood without the windows, just let me know please, and I will render that for you in a file. I just printed it as one, and I printed it standing up like that with some support at the bottom, and then just a bit of super glue inside there just to fix the printing mistakes. But once it's all sanded and smoothed out, it looks very nice. So you're going to tape up the rear and the front part of the fuselage and get it as flat as possible. Don't get any overlaps. Then you're going to introduce the hood, and I'm just going to lay it here for now. Then you're going to tape up the hood to the front fuselage, so that you know that everything is aligned. Now the problem is, after you've taped it up, if you take this off and then attempt to glue inside here, you do have the possibility that this bottom piece will twist slightly. Even if it's just 0.5 millimeter, you won't notice it until you try and fit the hood back on later, and you'll see that it doesn't quite fit. So I would strongly recommend leaving this all taped up. Okay, there's lots of holes in here for you to get your hand in and drop just a couple of drops of glue all around the seams. And once it's in place, then you can remove this, and you've still got your tape here anyway, and you can go ahead and glue that together. Now then we're going to glue the tailpiece section to this piece here. Once again, tape it up nicely, make sure all the joints fit, and reach your hand inside there. Of course, you've got no electronics in at the moment, and then that you can glue that in nicely. Then we've got the tail boom. In fact, this is one piece, I believe, from here to there. That's one piece. The tail boom, in this particular version, I've made a little ring so that this tail boom just slots on, glued on, and then the whole tail section stays loose, stays separate. We don't glue that on, and that's in case you ever want to remove this or something is not quite right, then you haven't glued it on here. I have included the version 2.5 motors holes and the version 3 holes, which are those over there. So there's two parts. Find the right one. I'm just going to keep going around here. The back fin you don't have to glue it on. Mine isn't glued on. I've just got my bolts through the motor, and that holds this whole section together. That's screwed in the top. The holes are already there for easy alignment. Once I've clipped this in, it just clips in nicely. I've just drilled 3 little holes and fitted 3 of the self-tapping screws to hold that together, and that's nice and solid, not going to go anywhere. What else? Okay, so now you've glued together this section here, but before you glued anything, you still had all this taped up so that you know it's going to fit later. Okay, but then you can remove this and do all your gluing. Fantastic. Now we've got the firewalls. You can actually go ahead in this particular version and glue the 2 firewalls to the motor plate so that you have one piece, and then that whole thing will slide in, and it should touch the back. It should touch basically the back of the landing gear inserts at the back. There's one at the back there and one at the back there. In fact, why don't we do the landing gear first? You'll notice that when you print the landing gear, that the inserts, there's the front inserts, which are smaller, and the back inserts, which are bigger. They're obviously left and right. And the landing gears, there's the front are the short ones and the back are the long ones, and they actually only fit in one place. You cannot fit this landing gear to that side, although it's a mirror, and you will find that the shape inside, this oval shape inside here, when you try and fit your landing gear in, if you've got the wrong one, you'll see that it just doesn't want to fit in nicely. Don't force it. Try the other one, and you'll probably find that it fits. So then just dry fit everything together so that it's flush. So you've got this piece loose and that piece loose. Just dry fit everything together. We will fit these little things later, the cowls. And once you've dry fitted it, you can just offer it in from the top. And of course this will still come out, eh? And you'll also notice that you've got the legs in the right direction, because the landing gear, the cutouts over here, will face inwards at an angle here like that. Does that make sense? So if you've got this landing gear on that side, you will notice that this will face the wrong way around. So then you know you've got the right landing gear. So just don't glue anything yet. Fit your landing gear in before you paint it, obviously, both front and rear. And then once you've got the angle right, if you've got this on the wrong side, it will be too much at an angle like that. So they also only fit in one direction. Just fit them until you get this look, And also the landing gears only fit into each one, because this round piece here is not exactly in the center. It's slightly off-centered, and then you'll know that this clip is the wrong one if you've got it on the wrong side. That goes for the front and the rear. So then I would push the landing gear into the clip, some distance, okay, flush, and then just drop a couple of drops of super glue on the outside of this clip. Then you can remove the landing gear out and then glue that in nicely. Do the front and the rear. Then you can fit the cowlings. You can see mine. I did these later, so the color doesn't quite match. You fit the cowlings. They should just slide over. If they don't slide over, you just need some little files like this. Just get that to slide in and out nicely, and then you can offer the landing gear up until it sits flush like this. Okay, and then tape one of these to the table, measure, fit them, line them up, tape them both to the table. Make sure the distance here is the same. I've got mine at 48 millimeters from the back, 48 millimeters here. And then once you're happy that you've got everything lined up, you see it's all parallel and it's not one doing this and the other one doing that, then you can go ahead and glue your skid to the landing gear. And then you can still remove the landing gear. Just remove it from the back a little bit, or sorry, remove it from the front. That'll just pop out, and you can twiddle the back out. You can go paint them, or you can just glue them in. But if they ever break, it'd be very difficult to replace them. So mine are not glued in; they're just press fitted. Okay, so now we get to the. Now we're going to put this in. Then the back firewall, which is at the back, they will literally touch the back landing gear support. It presses up against there. So once you've got that lined up, don't glue it in yet. Okay, just make sure it's level. It's not standing skew. It's level. Okay, that's why we do the landing gear first, so the heli can stand. Make sure it's level. And you've glued this together. Then you can offer up your electronics, line them up so that this is in the center, that's in the center, it's all straight, it's not standing skew. Line it up if you need to. Draw some lines here where this is going to go eventually, and put a piece of tape on here. Okay, remove, okay, this, so your H1, your GPS block will be on top here. I've just moved mine here. Then you'll line it up. You've got some tape here, then you can take a pen and just mark where the holes go. Okay, and once you've marked where the holes go, you drill the holes, 2.5mm holes. You take some self-tapping screws, you glue the little blocks in. It's two little blocks with a hole in it from underneath, right where the hole is, and then your screw will have something to bite onto. Then you can screw that electronics to the plate, and then you can glue in the little back pieces. Going to be very difficult to show here now, but you'll see these two little. So we're talking about so you've drilled your holes, your plate is on, and then these two parts, they will slide basically against the chassis and against the plate. And that once you've glued them in place, next time you offer your chassis up, it'll just locate here and it'll just stay there. And this is very strong, and there's not really any force on this because it's mounted here and it's mounted on the top, so it's not like it's pulling on this at all. Then you can bolt the whole thing back together. You can offer the whole thing up, line it up with your lines that you might have made, so you know where it is. And then when you're happy and it's level, then you can glue in the firewalls. There's lots of space. You can get your hand in there, glue it in, what. Once it's glued in, you can then just refit your electronics, and then you can fit the these rear supports over here. You just wangle them in. You put 2 screws in beforehand. You wangle them in. I've drilled 2 little holes here. 1, 2, so I can get my Allen key inside there. Tighten it up. And once you're happy that it's all in the right place and it's not skew and it's nice and straight, you can just glue those in place. And then when you loosen them, they'll stay there. And then and if you loosen these 2 screws, this whole electronics will come out. Okay, one thing I haven't mentioned is you're going to relocate your GPS unit. In fact, this is just a GPS antenna on these scale H1s. It's just an antenna. As long as it faces in the right direction, just take note, there's a little arrow. So it was here. I've just moved it there. That's the only difference. Some nice strong double-sided tape, not going to go anywhere. Okay, battery tray. I've included some new trusses over here. Okay, and that just makes everything super strong. You can assemble your battery tray. It's pretty straightforward. Glue it in place. It only fits in one place. And if it doesn't fit exactly, just take a little file, yeah, and just the little tabs, just round them off nicely so that it all presses in together nicely. Assemble it, drop some glue everywhere. So you assemble this off the Heli, and when it's all assembled, then you can drop it in place and glue it in. And then you can just print these 2 little things. I did include them. Just braces it. Otherwise, I found that this battery tray kind of did wobble around a bit, but now it's super strong, not going anywhere. What else? Okay, so we've covered all of that. We've covered all of that. These you just glue on later. This has got a self-fitting ring, so the tail just pops on. Before you glue this tail on, by the way, just stand your Heli, make sure it's standing nice and level. And when you offer up the tail, make sure it's not standing skew. Okay, it's not standing like that. You do have some room here to rotate this slightly. So if it's a couple of degrees that you need to, let's just move that away. If it's a couple of degrees, okay, my helicopter is standing slightly skew. If I were to raise this section here like that, it would be straight. And that's because I haven't pressed the landing gear in evenly. So, but when it flies, it's dead level. So just make sure that this is 90 degrees. To that, you have some room to rotate this just a little bit, if you need to move that. So this must be horizontal. That must be 90 degrees. But the Heli must also be standing straight. So mine is just slightly to the left because my landing gear on this side is pushed into deep. Okay, so we got exhaust. Mine is actually loose. It's a press fit. I just press fitted in after I painted, and I did that even after I assembled the whole thing. I managed to get my hand all the way to the back, and I've just press fitted, but you go ahead and glue that in. What else do we need to discuss? Let's see. I think that's about it. I've printed mine out of PETG because, not that it stands in the sun all day, but it's more resilient to the sun. It's transient temperature, if that's the right word, is 80 degrees, which I'll never be standing in, whereas PLA is 60 degrees. So, yeah, I printed all my brackets out of carbon fiber PLA, but you just print them out of PETG. It really doesn't matter. And, okay, so then I wanted to discuss the fitting of the hood. So, if you've done everything well, then you should be able to tape your hood back on and it should fit perfectly. Okay. But first, drill in the hood. You drill yourself 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've just fitted a toothpick. Yeah. And just make sure that the toothpick is not standing at an angle like this, at an angle like that. It must just be straight. Okay. So then, But before you put the toothpick in, you drill the holes. Then you fit this again exactly the way it's going to fit, because this is the last time you're going to dry fit it. I shouldn't get that clip in there. It's the last time you're going to dry fit, and then you can, through the openings, you can mark the holes on this side to drill them exactly where they're going to go. You see? Then you fit some toothpicks. I've got just little short toothpicks here, nothing major. And then this should theoretically clip all together. Here's a little locating thing. It's this is a 3-part plate. It's a short plate and a top and a bottom. You just glue them together. It makes like a little USB looking port. And on the inside is the female, or is the male part over there. Okay, so that should be a tight fit. So dry fit this part into this part before you glue that part onto here. Then when it fits in and out nicely, and you can press, it mustn't be loose and floppy, it must be a little bit of tension, but that's why there's no tolerances allowed. You can just file that to whatever you need. It must just slide in, but you must press it in and be able to pull it out easily. Then you push it in as far as it'll go. You've got all your holes lined up. You've got your pins on here. You offer your pins up. Okay. Look, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so excuse that the camera is a little bit all over the place. You offer your pins up, and once it locates and it's clicked in, then you can glue that tab over there to the inside of here, because then you know that that's exactly where it needs to go. Okay. I will try and then you have a little locating tab there. See, that slides into its little piece over there. Okay, and if all is good and done, then your hood should fit nicely, and just the tension will keep it all together. I'll try and demonstrate that. It's not going to work one-handed. I'll attempt to do it from here. I'll attempt to do it from here. So I'm going to just, so I've got my little USB thing there. I just push that in. I line up my holes. Like that. Like that. And like that. And there we go. It's not going to go anywhere. Won't fall off. Okay, because inevitably you'll have a little bit of tension between some of the pins. Another trick, just by the way, is once you've got your pins on, if you just drop the tiniest little blob of super glue on just one of them, just test one. Okay, the tiniest little blob of super glue. I'm going to do it this way so you can see that when you offer it up to the hole, it actually pops in there, and the little blob of super glue will hold it. I'll see if I can demonstrate it here by just being very awkward. Okay, that one is not so. So yeah, so then just the little blob of glue. So here's your hole. Here's your pin. The blob of glue is just the size of the hole, and it pops in, and then it helps to hold the whole lot together. I'll try and make it as light as possible without huge pins and magnets and all that sort of stuff. But mine fits. There we go. You can even fit the battery from the outside. You can just get to it. You can attach the battery from the outside. You can easily get to it. So once the hood is on, in fact, If you really wanted to, you could glue it on there, but I don't know if that's such a good idea. I think we've covered everything now. Look, I didn't make a long 6-hour build video. You can just watch one of my other videos, particularly the I think the BO105 is very similar. So yeah, if you're lucky, so if you want this hood without the windows, just let me know. I've got the file. Maybe I'll just upload it anyway. And then because I don't have the forming capabilities of making nice transparent windows, so I just painted mine in. Don't be like me. If you do paint them in, make sure that this line is horizontal to the body. In other words, yeah. So it must be horizontal like this. It mustn't be here like I had it the first time. So this line is horizontal. Okay. And this is thicker. The new version of this has got a hole here. This is just a sticker. This is all just painted in. But guys, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, please just hook me up on the Facebook or on the Cults 3D, wherever you purchased it from. I'm there every day. And as soon as I see the message, I tend to reply, because I do get an email that somebody famous has sent me a message. And then I like to respond ASAP. So yeah, let's go fly it and see that it holds up. We'll see you next time. We've printed, cobbled, sanded, painted, printed again, glued, measured, balanced, and now you want to see if it's all worthwhile. Well, there we go, guys. My all-up weight with this 2200 is 1400 grams, give or take. Let's go in for a closer look. Certainly looks nice. Nice and visible. Not going to fly too fast. But she's got plenty in her, if she really wants to. Guys, thanks so much for downloading it, supporting, all very much appreciated. You can buy me a coffee if you like to. The link will be below. On a 3000 you should get 16 minutes thereabouts. I'm expecting about 8 on this 2200. 9, maybe 10. I was a bit nervous at first with this super thin tail that the tail would vibrate, but I don't see anything. And after balancing the blades, I noticed that the landing gear no longer vibrates. Heli's nice and level in the sky, as you can see. Excuse the fly in my face. Just trying to give you that level shot. So there's a little bit of a lean, which is normal. Guys, thanks for watching. Happy building, and please show us your builds. Very keen to see what you come up with. Lovely stuff. Guys, thanks for watching. And on a 2200 that was 9 minutes, which is absolutely perfect. Guys, thanks so much. Happy days.